Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Valentine Lister, and this is my series on the minor arcana for the suit of swords. And today we're going to cover the two of swords, and we're going to get into the secret symbolism of this card, the astrology of this card, which includes the major arcana rulers of this card. Super cool, and will help you to understand it. And we're also going to go into the upright and the reversed meanings. But before I get into it, I just wanted to let you know about a discount that I'm offering for readings with me. So right now I'm offering $20 off your very first reading by using the code 20bucks. And this code is valid until December 31st, 2021. And to use that and to book, you can go to my website, valentinelister.com. I'll also put the info in the description box below so you can get it there. And what I offer a tarot card reading, I offer an astrology birth chart reading, and I also offer a combination of the two. And it's a live Zoom session, one-on-one between the two of us. And so again, if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description box below. All right, so let's get into the Two of Swords. Okay, so I have a little nickname for this card just to introduce you to it, and I like to call this card an objective decision. All right, so I'm going to get right into the rulers of the card, which ties directly to the astrology of this card. So when we're thinking of astrology, and especially like the way I view it, which is a more like the Hellenistic, Western, traditional, is that we have a god or goddess wearing the zodiac sign costume of the zodiac, right? So this god or goddess gets to dress up and play and be Libra for a day. Okay, so actually let me backtrack here. So the Two of Swords is ruled by the moon in Libra. So we have the moon card represented by the high priestess. Hello, let me think here. And then we have Libra represented by the justice card. So we have the moon in Libra, right? High priestess and justice. So why do we have the Two of Swords? Well, the Two of Swords represents, right? If we have this like goddess moon energy acting like Libra, how is that actually going to show up to us in everyday life? Because we're not walking around like seeing gods or goddesses. Things look like very average and normal to us. And especially when we have a tarot reading, it's going to tell us about like average, normal, everyday things, which is very holy, very divine. So that's what it looks like. If we have the moon in Libra, it's going to look a lot like this Two of Swords. And also, before I get more into the meaning of this card and the symbols, just wanted to let my astrologers out there know that the Two of Swords here right in the middle represents the first decan of Libra. Also, if you want to remember like that these cards are associated with the Two of Swords, I have this all written down. You don't need a pen and paper to write this down. I wrote it down for you, like completely organized. It's called the Tarot and Astrology Cheat Sheet. I have that link for that down in the description box below where you can get it, and you can get that as a thank you for signing up for my mailing list. Okay, so for this card, the Two of Swords, this moon in Libra, well, the first thing that I noticed was the actual moon that's in this card. And this is perfect because, again, this card is connected to the moon, right? So what is this moon phase? And how does it help us understand this card? Well, this is a waxing crescent moon. Some people could just like lump this into the new moon phase. I like to spread, I find a difference between like there's like 8 phases of the moon that you can divide it into. So this is right after the new moon, a little bit after the new moon, and this is the waxing crescent moon. So what does waxing mean? Waxing means that the moon is gaining light. And the little trick to knowing that, I'll eventually do videos on moon phases, is that like we have the light coming in on the right side. If it's waning, the light would be on the left side. But on the right, it means that the moon is gaining light. So going back to, we have in the moon, right, the mother, maiden, and crone phases here, like in the crown. And so this one right here is going to represent our maiden phase, the phase of life where we have this feminine energy that's youthful and innocent. So again, the moon is pretty new and innocent in this waxing crescent phase. And so in the waxing phase, what is that all about, right? We know that we're going to have to rise up and meet a challenge. So waxing phases means that things are coming to light and we're going to have to deal with them. But there's only a little bit of light. Like, we know we're going to have to deal with things eventually, or a conflict, or looking at, you know, these like two conflicting ideas and bring them to harmony, or whatnot, or, but we're not feeling quite ready. We want to go back. We want to go back to that peaceful new moon phase where everything was like a blank slate. So it's kind of like this energy of, in this new moon phase, that we're like a child, like trying to run back to our mothers for safety. Like, we want to stay in what's familiar, what's comfortable. Even though, like, from time to time, we'll peek out and we'll fantasize about who we'll be when we grow up, like who will be when we get to that like full moon phase, right? And we're in all our glory, like the light is shining all over us and everything comes to light. So next, then behind her, right, we have all of this water. What does this water represent? Well, it can represent emotion. You know, and I think in this particular card, it does represent like emotion and the universal conscious and everything like we feel, right? Because this is connected to the moon card and we have this flowing gown and there's this movement of the water. And so it really gives us like this feeling energy, like we can feel our environment, we can feel the people around us. But then, different from the moon, the high priestess, we have these rocks coming up in this card above the water. Ding, 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 right? It represents objective thought. Objective thoughts are peeking out over the top of all of these feels, like all of this emotion. So comparing, right? Yeah. So again, comparing the garment that we have for the high priestess, we have like all of this water. It's actually hard to see. She actually does, the high priestess actually has like all of this water behind her too. If you really peek through these pillars, like in the background, you'll actually be able to see that yourself. But it's hard to see, right? So the high priestess herself is really mysterious and she is immersed in this water. And the blue, it can represent like, you know, compassion, mental clarity, serenity. But again, it's also like the emotion and the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of life. So the high priestess is like this can be this mental clarity on a very emotional level, like understanding the value in our emotions and navigating life through emotions. So the high priestess herself is all immersed in her emotions and creating an environment that nurtures that's safe to feel and safe to feel everything in life. But Two of Swords is a little bit different, right? Because it's the moon in Libra. So I'm going to bring the Libra card back in here, Justice, right? So the Two of Swords is different. She's similar to this Justice card in that you can see her so clearly. You can see everything in this Justice card clearly. Nothing is really hidden. Maybe the feet here, you just see one foot, right? But you can see everything so clearly. And in the Two of Swords, one interesting thing is that her garment here is gray, and that represents wisdom and the mixing of the black and white, right, to come to a place of justice. And her garment is the same as the pillars of justice and everything that's solid. So I thought that was interesting. And then the swords themselves, right, and in Justice are double-edged, showing the duality of cutting to the truth, right? Getting to the truth and can cut away life as well as build. All right, so the next thing I wanted to point out is her blindfolds, right? We see her blindfolds, which would seem connected to justice. A lot of times we see just like the symbols of justice and we see like justice is blind and we see a blindfold. But back in the 1400s, where is like the time period of like where like these images were created, inspired by that, right? Justice isn't wearing from a blindfold. So remember from the Justice card video, the actual video on justice, that in the 1400s, justice was implied because this justice card here, she had a maidenly form. So I thought this figure was a little androgynous. But according to the history and the symbolism, this is Lady Justice, and so it's supposed to represent a woman. So I actually think that the blindfold is actually an even more of a nod to the high priestess and her crown, the mother maiden crone phase, because we can see like the bottoms of these swords. It's like this flat thing, and it matches her blindfold. So it's kind of like mother maiden crone, like the 3 phases of life. So navigating the phases of life and how she's going to navigate that, like all of these phases of life when she's younger, when she gets older, and gets into that mother phase, and then the crone phase, she's going to look within to her mind. And as a mother, right, that's like the main phase in the fullness of the moon and the fullness of life and our life experience and creation, right? She's going to look inside her mind for the truth and justice. When faced with life, when faced with emotions and conflicts and all these things, she's not going to look outside of her. And the other thing I noticed is that she's also crossing her arms. She's like crossing her arms here, just like the high priestess has a cross. But this cross is a little different. It's a little sideways, right? So it's showing even like this balance between dualities. So like, if you don't remember from the high priestess, the cross is like the up and down was representing masculine energy. Kind of, I guess that's the yin energy. And then there's this horizontal cross, and that represents the feminine or like a yang type energy. And so she has a cross on her, but even this cross is balanced. Even that polarity between masculine and feminine is super balanced. She's able to keep that balanced. And so the last symbol that I wanted to show you is her shoes, right? And so her shoes are yellow, the color of the soul. So she's grounded in the truth of her soul. She's grounded in optimism, creativity, enthusiasm, like this positivity of the soul, the one that is joyful beyond all of the nonsense that can happen in life. Okay, and so before I get into the meaning, I'm going to go into the numerology of the card. So we have the number 2 up here, and 2 represents duality, balance of polarity. Hello, yin and yang, male and female, private and public, separate and together. So it's achieving balance, just like we were saying, like even with these polarities, she's achieving balance. And it's so cool that it ties into the number 2. 2 also represents sensitivity to others, two-ness, and immersing yourself into another person, which is kind of like a cool like visual for Moon in Libra too, and the 2 of Swords. Okay, so the upright meaning of this card. So I'm going to share my experience with the card, and that it represents trying to find fairness and justice when emotions are strong. So don't disregard the moon component of this. Even though we're talking about like, you know, things being balanced and seeing things with clarity, seeing things evenly, it still involves like strong emotion. So I'll give an example for my tarot journal. I really, really recommend to you guys to start a tarot journal. I'll put the link to that video up here, and it's in the description below. Do the tarot journal. You're going to learn these cards so much quicker when you actually pull them and see your experience when you get the card. So anyway, so when I got this card, like examples of when I've gotten the 2 of Swords is like with a social gathering or like watching the news. So this is, you know, this is Swords and connected to Libra. So that means we're going to connect this card with ideas, communication, and social activities. Libra is very, very social and talkative. So on like even shy Libra energy, like they're talking a lot to the people they know, or have a lot of ideas or writing. So on one day with this Libra energy, and this 2 of Swords, when I got it, I happened to be with a bunch of friends, and ironically, most of them were Libra suns. I tend to be friends with a lot of Libras. And so by chance, but that was just by chance. It wasn't like on purpose. It wasn't a Libra party. I'm a Sagittarius, right? Okay. So we were sharing strong opinions about politics, and the discussion went to like, how do we make decisions with a clear head when emotions are strong? That's very 2 of Swords. It's very much about trying to make a clear, objective decision when emotions are strong. Also, even though I was in a group with people with differing and strong opinions, like we're all friends, we all get along really, really well because we all value our rights to have a different opinions and the freedom to think for ourselves. So that's another sentiment of the Two of Swords. So on another day, right, you can see all kinds of crazy things on the news about justice and how to keep her cool, right? Emotions are strong. So another day I saw a video clip of a woman, she was screaming at a school board over a policy. Now, right, I do believe that, you know, I strongly support someone's opinion, to their right to voice and advocate their opinion. But on that day, like my experience was, you know, she's yelling at the school board, and that's very Mars energy. That's not Libra ruled by Venus. So sometimes I'm Mars, like sometimes I'm out yelling at people. But when I got this card, I was in this little more Libra mindset, and I was thinking, like, isn't there a way to get your opinion across, like in a strong way, but it's also diplomatic, and it also acknowledges that the person that you disagree with is a human being, and so that person is worthy of respect and dignity, you know, even if you disagree with them. And so, you know, like there is this space for, you can build a strong case with facts, information that support it, and clear thinking that state your case. So that is a very Moon in Libra perspective on it. If you have a more Mars perspective, you're like, listen, she believed in what she was doing, and she's got to fight for it, and she's got to like take them out, and like they're the enemy, take them out. That's not the Two of Swords, and that's not the Moon in Libra. The Moon in Libra, the Two of Swords, is going to try to find a balance between two perspectives, where there is peace, where there is harmony, where we can find a place of justice and a place where we can balance these just different perspectives in a way that's just and fair for every person involved. Oh, also the other thing, if it's upright, Libra can relate to legal matters, right? So like this is trying to stay neutral and objective about like a legal situation or a conflict or negotiation, like in a relationship, or it could be related to contracts. And so it's something that might bring up strong emotions, right? This like situation, legal situation, contract, relationship, negotiation. But it's trying to find objectivity, or being able to find objectivity like with that conflict. Okay, so the reversed meaning of the card. So the energy, if it is being blocked or avoided, if the card comes out reversed. So in this case, you want to stay objective, but emotions are really getting the best of you, or like you're not getting all the information you need to make a clear and objective decision. It's just like the situation is not clear, like something's up. So there's some type of miscommunication or like lack of communication here, or that there's like a legal matter you're upset about, and you're feeling like there's not enough objectivity, meaning that like that situation, that legal matter or contract, or even negotiating just even a personal relationship and trying to find fairness, you're feeling like it's not being dealt with fairly. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this video. This is just a quick reminder that if you liked it, to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for when I release my next video, which will be on the Three of Swords. And if you want to catch up on the videos that I've already done for the minor arcana, I've done the wands, I've done the cups, now going through the swords. I'm going to put a playlist right here for you, as well as a related video that I think you'll like up here. All right, love you guys so much. Take care, bye. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for whenever I release a new video every single week.